I think about it every night, day. Even thinking about it makes me want to cry.
That's the voice of a stabbing victim from October of last year. He was one of 3 people attacked by the same man in downtown Spokane. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us on KREM 2 News First at 4. I'm Tom Sherry.
It's great to have you with us. I'm Jane McCarthy. That suspect in the stabbing spree is scheduled for a hearing next month. One of his 3 victims asked our Amanda Rowley, it's been a year. Why is this taking so long?
So she shares an update along with the victim's account of what happened.
In October last year, Spokane police say Joseph Murray stabbed 3 different people within an hour. Now, this is where each one happened. At about 3:40, a Spokane corporal was downtown when he found the first stabbing victim near Brown Street and Spokane Falls Boulevard. Shortly after, police talked to a second victim who was stabbed near the Spokane Convention Center. Then an hour later, police responded to a third stabbing near Trent Avenue near the Union Gospel Mission. Now, that victim, Jimmy Bailey, says the attack still haunts him a year later.
I have nightmares. I can't sleep at night.
Bailey says he came to Spokane last year to recover from a previous attack and a rollover crash before that in Montana. He believes bad things come in threes, and being stabbed outside the Union Gospel Mission was his third.
All of a sudden, I felt a sharp jab through the back. He stabbed me on the first side through my lungs. Then he stabbed me again on the right side. And then I started to scream.
Bailey is now recovered from his injuries and says he is not likely to return to Spokane, but he's hoping for closure at the conclusion of the suspect's case.
I want him to pay, like he made me pay.
Over the course of the year, the suspect received a handful of mental evaluations to determine his competency for trial. Those evaluations could explain the multiple requests to delay his hearings. Court documents show Murray suffers from bipolar disorder and substance abuse, but the evaluators say he should be able to stand trial. According to court records, the suspect is expected back in court November 1st for his assault charges. Amanda Rowley, KREM 2 News.
Taking a turn to weather now, another chilly, foggy start to the morning, and we saw another day of sub-freezing temperatures.
Yeah, below freezing temperatures, some of a little bit of frost on the roadway as well. But the sun is shining right now. Come on here and take a look at this. 53 degrees, that's the current temperature. As you can see, look at that blue sky. This is a live picture down in Riverfront Park, so looking pretty good. Wind is out of the southeast at 8 miles per hour. Here's a look at your day planner forecast. We'll stay above freezing tonight, so still much colder than the normal overnight low of 42, but should drop it down to 36 degrees. 57 the expected high tomorrow. Look for partly cloudy skies continuing. For the weekend, I've got partly cloudy on Saturday and 58 with a slight chance of showers Saturday. We'll look for partly cloudy skies and mild temperatures on Sunday as they climb back into the low 60s.
All right, Tom, thank you very much. As the vaping epidemic grows, several advocacy groups in Idaho are hoping to bring the vaping age up now to 21. Right now in Idaho, you can buy e-cigarettes if you're over 18. Now, these groups say they plan to bring the Tobacco 21 measure before lawmakers during the 2020 session with a focus on e-cigarettes.
And we know that young people have 18-year-old friends. So if we can push the age as late as possible, we reduce access and we reduce the likelihood that a young person will initiate and become addicted.
National data shows tobacco use as a whole is increasing among teens. So far, the CDC reports more than 800 people have gotten sick because of vaping, and more than 15 people have died because of vaping. Nearly 2/3 of patients are under 34.
And a new vaping tax is now in effect in Washington state. Vapors of so-called open systems, which are reusable and refillable products, will now pay around a 12% excise tax on juices.
Closed system users, products like the Juul pods, would pay about a 4.5% tax. The tax is expected to raise $25 to $30 million a year, with that money going toward education, enforcement, and cancer research.
Well, have you gotten your flu shot yet? We are officially in flu season, and KREM 2's Mark Hanrahan joins us in the studio now with why you may want to get that flu shot soon. Mark?
Yes, good afternoon, guys. How bad the flu season is really depends on the year. The CDC relies on flu forecasting to predict how that year's flu impact is going to be and how to reduce it. That's the hope. The CDC advises that almost everyone over the age of 6 months old should get the flu shot every year. Doctors say now is the time because it takes about 2 weeks for it to be effective. Last year's flu season was one of the longest on record, and the year before that was one of the deadliest ones. Preventing the flu can be as simple as just washing your hands. A flu virus can live on some surfaces for up to 24 hours, so make sure to keep your hands clean and avoid touching your mouth, your nose, and your eyes. While the shot is advised, those with certain allergies or medical conditions should talk with their doctor before getting it. And coming up in our 5 o'clock hour, we'll explain how looking at Australia's flu season might help us predict our flu season right here. For now, guys, send it back to you.
Thank you, Mark. Meantime, a homeless shelter is moving to the University of Washington, and it's getting a lot of mixed reviews from the community. That shelter is moving into a former fraternity house. It's right on Greek Row. So students who live nearby say they were not very happy to welcome their future new neighbors at first, but now they say that's changing.
I'm a student here. I walk the streets. I want to be safe at night. Once we learn more about it, I feel like it's going to be actually good for our community, and it's going to get our Greek community involved.
Yeah, the nonprofit just bought the property last month. Each week, more than 200 people volunteer with the organization behind the shelter, and at least 80% of those volunteers are students. More about when that shelter will open will be decided next month.
We, the jury, find unanimously that the defendant did not cause the death of Botham Jean while under the immediate influence of sudden passion.
Well, the Texas police officer who shot and killed her unarmed neighbor was sentenced to 10 years today. Amber Geiger was convicted of murder. She testified saying she shot her neighbor thinking he was a burglar in her apartment. He was in his. She faced between 5 years and life in prison.
Well, at least 5 people are dead after a World War II bomber crashed in Connecticut. Authorities say there were 10 passengers and 3 crew members on board. Just 5 minutes into the flight, the pilot reported a problem.
What's the reason for coming back?
Got number 4 engine. We'd like to return.
Well, several people were also injured in that crash, including a person on the ground. Authorities say the Boeing B-17 bomber was on tour in the area, offering free rides for a donation. And it's one of only 18 left in the country. The National Transportation Safety Board will investigate this crash.
President Donald Trump is fighting back against an impeachment inquiry, calling it a scam.
He struck back at Democrats who are leading that inquiry, focused on his phone call with Ukraine's president.
These are bad people. These are dishonest people. And when the American people find out what happened, it's going to be a great day.
The president focused most of his attention on the chairman of the House Intelligence Committee, who President Trump says probably helped write the whistleblower complaint. Adam Schiff's committee is one of several working on a subpoena to compel the White House to turn over documents related to Ukraine.
We are concerned that the White House will attempt to stonewall our investigation, much as they have stonewalled other committees in the past.
Schiff says if the White House blocks the investigation, they will consider it obstruction of justice. In the meantime, he also says Secretary of State Mike Pompeo listened to the Ukraine phone call and is trying to prevent State Department personnel from testifying. Pompeo denies that.